What phone? No, 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 no.
It's still maybe on it. If you may have to check the preferences, but it's still on. I'm not saying you should use it.
Hello, 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 hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, Margot.
Hello.
Oh.
I have a question. Simone told me he can't be there tonight, so he asked me if we could record it so he can share it. It's done, right?
Yeah, it is recording. Yeah, so we'll make sure that we share that. I think we'll see if everyone else is coming on or not.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Whoa.
Hope everyone's had a good day.
Yes.
Yeah.
You.
Oh, the baby.
Yeah. You has the baby and you had the guitar.
That's my baby.
Yeah.
Sylvan told that he would be a bit late, but here he is.
Looks like he's here now.
Yeah, I'm there. Hello.
Hey,
Good
Timon.
evening.
Hello.
I'm gonna set up my laptop and put the camera on.
Sorry, guys, just finishing one thing and I'll be with you.
Yoo-hoo. She's so cute. She or he?
She. Fia.
Hilvia.
Fia.
Ah, Fia. Hello. Ah, she doesn't see me.
I don't know if she really cares.
She.
Is that personal?
Yeah. I told her about Victor.
How many weeks does she have?
Almost 4 months.
4 months.
Next week.
Let's see. So we're missing Sarah. Should be here. And Alicio. Okay. We'll just give them 2 minutes if that's all right, guys. How's the first week going?
Good.
Yeah. Oh, we've lost Sylvan. You guys had obviously int. Have you had any other classes?
SOC today.
Yeah.
ECC.
Yeah. And the research stuff hasn't kicked off yet? All right, well, as soon as Victor is back, we'll kick it off. I was hoping to have a couple more of you on tonight, but if not, then not. So, Victor, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Hey, Sylvain, can you hear us as well?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Right. Good. All right. Well, thanks, guys. We'll kick it off, and we'll see if someone else is joining us. Let's just see. Maybe Sarah. Hello, Sarah, ¿estás tú ahí? Who just joined us? Sarah, Joaquin? No? Can someone type in the chat, whoever that was that just joined us? Simon, Sarah, Joaquin, Alessio. No, sorry, it's just joined. Okay. Sorry, Sarah's just joining. Hello, Sarah. All right, so I'll assume that everyone can hear us. So thanks a lot, first of all, for this time. I know that it's late. I just ran back from practice and I'm in a screening all weekend, so I have no other time. We wanted to really get this done quickly and as soon as possible. We had a few meetings across this week with the Academic Strategy and Review Committee about this entire process in terms of selecting you guys and running the electives. So they put the pressure on me to have this meeting with you guys as soon as possible, which is why we're doing it now. So thank you very, very much. I must say for myself and also pretty much for the whole Academic Strategy and Review Committee and everyone who's been involved, we're pretty excited to get this going and to offer this to you guys as the first year that we're doing this. And to help you guys advance as much as possible as a result of the electives. So we're pretty excited and we'll see how we can support you in doing that. I do have a really short presentation. I know I'm sorry that it's a presentation, but I just want to make sure that I cover the notes. So let me do that and you guys can see it. Just to give you the outline so you've all got the details of what it is that we're doing. And then at the end, we should go for about 20 minutes and then we'll have some questions and answers. That's really what it's about, that you guys understand it and that it makes sense to you guys, what it is that we're wanting to do with you. And also that Sarah is just trying, she's having some problems with her computer. And also what we're offering you and what choices you have around this as well. So let me just share that. And I promise it's not a heavy presentation by any means. This obviously fits within the new module, which is the clinical competency module in Year 4 and in Year 5. In Year 5 is the one where it runs the electives. And so let me just let Sarah in. So we're this is where it sits. It's out of the prac module, so it doesn't sit within prac 3. You guys may remember that I mentioned that we've split the content and what happens in clinic, but this does actually have an impact on prac. That I'll share with you as well. I want you guys to understand it. So just to let you know, as you know, this is the first time it's ever been offered to students. You guys are the first ones to ever get this. And it's important for us that we've done this as well as possible, as soon as possible. Actually, Sylvia wanted me to only offer this in 12 months' time, and I was pushing because I know a lot of you guys, I think, will really benefit from this. I'm happy that we could actually offer it now. It's obviously piloted this year, so we'll learn as we go, and we're really keen to get a lot of your feedback as we go. It's really important for us that we're making this right for you and making the project right. And as I mentioned in the email, we've been very, very, very keen to only offer this to you guys that are the high achievers in your year. This is really important for us on a number of different levels. First of all, for the first time in the college's history, reward you guys that are high achievers and help you keep advancing rather than just teaching to the average or the median. We know that in the college's history, you guys, the high achievers, got left behind, and so it's important to respect you guys and help you continue to advance. But as well as that, we wanted to make sure that those who needed the most help to do well in year 5 and pass the OSCE, pass the assessments and graduate well, got that attention. And we feel that part of the selection process was knowing that you guys didn't need that hands-on help. And I'll go through the selection process in a moment, but those were the two kind of qualifiers. Who are the high achievers? And out of those high achievers, who do we feel we could leave to independent, self-directed learning, autonomous learning to continue doing well in year 5? And that's kind of how we ended up with you guys. Now, to get that information, we went to a whole lot of different people to know who that was. It was really extensive process that started way before summer, and we've consulted many different people. We've looked at your performance across the BCC Chiropractic Centre in terms of not only your quantitative adjustments, but also a qualitative measure from all of the supervisors, the leadership team and CAs on you individually, on who you are, your level of professionalism and your direction towards the graduate competency. So all of that was taken into account. And then we went to all of the year 4 teachers and we said to them, how did these students do in year 4? How well are they going to be prepared to independently learn across year 5? So it was a really extensive process. We then took all of that information to the Academic Strategy and Review Committee, which I sit on, and everyone deliberated it quite extensively, making sure that we went through the process in a consistent, reliable, transparent, and fair way, and ended up with you guys. So you are the cream of the crop, and you're the ones that we really want in these electives. And so we feel confident that you can do really well at them, especially as it's a pilot year, and we feel well that we can work well with you for you to do well during this year as well. The design of the electives actually also started months ago. Again, we consulted many different people, absolutely the clinic unit as a whole, Adrian as a principal, Sylvia in her role as academic director. And then we also went to the board. The board needed to okay this. There's someone on the board that looks specifically academics, and we worked very closely with him, and we went to the external examiners as well. So I want you guys to feel confident that what we've come up with has been tested from a number of different perspectives, and we feel that it very much honors where you guys are at as that high achievers that are going to do well in year 5, and that it caters towards your continuous learning towards being an excellent chiropractor. And as I said, the Academic Strategy and Review Committee had a lot of say about this across a number of very late night meetings. That was fun to be part of. So looking at the objectives of the electives themselves, they're a little bit different to what your classmates are going to be doing in the rest of year 5. We want to reflect that you are of a high level of learning to your colleagues. And so catering to that to allow you to do a lot more independent, self-directed, autonomous learning at a higher level. Looking at that. And when I go into the description of the electives, you'll see how that sits. We also wanted to make sure that it helps you continue to advance throughout year 5 onto higher and higher and higher levels, not just leaving you where you're at. And it allows you, obviously, being an elective, to select what's your area of interest. So you get to say how you finish this year and how you start to put your focus as a chiropractor in one direction or another in that. As well as that, to really reflect your level of competence and to support your ongoing growth. So we know, again, that you're more competent than your colleagues in a number of different ways, from a number of different perspectives, and we wanted the contents, the learning, the style of learning to reflect that as well. When we look at the structure of the electives, I mentioned this very, very briefly in the induction to year 4 and 5. And this is where the meat of the meeting should really go to help you understand this. We can see that the majority of your colleagues in year 5 are going to be enrolled in what's called a clinical competency 2 vital. It's called that because it's the vital stuff they need to do well in year 5, to do well at their assessments, to do well at the OSCE, and to graduate well to be practice ready. We feel that you've got that covered with your own directed learning across year 5. So it's an alternative to that. I will mention that you'll have full access to that class, so you can dip in and out. And there's going to be 2 sub-modules in there that may be of particular interest to you. 3 actually, and I'll mention those. But you'll have full access to that. So wherever you want to attend class or not in terms of that module, you're welcome to do that. but the elective modules sit to the side of that. So you don't by any means need to do anything in competency 2 vital, but it's fully accessible to you. What we will ask you to do is to elect which of the electives you want to enroll in. The one, in a way, if you like, is directed at the students, the chiropractors who see themselves as more traditional, subluxation-based, pure chiropractors. It's kind of how I practice. So that's that, looking at challenging cases from a chiropractic perspective. What do we do with challenging cases? Challenging cases are things that your classmates won't really look at because they kind of have to get the basics right. So challenging cases are things that I may see, like today I adjusted a man with Parkinson's, a woman who doesn't have one of her limbs, a child who has got some mental challenges, these sorts of things. They were all in my day-to-day. I'm a regular run-of-the-mill chiropractor, and I see these day-to-day. We want you to start to be able to know what to do with them from different points of view, from technique, from neurology, from communication, and from some imaging questions. What do you do when someone with Parkinson's come in? How do you change your technique when someone doesn't have a limb? How do you change your technique when a child has some mental challenges and can't be communicated to? How do you handle these sorts of things? The alternative to that is more an integrated approach to the patient. If you are maybe you can think of someone like Marianne. Sorry, someone's just trying to get in. Let me just admit them. Someone like Marianne and the way that she practices, she likes to see herself in a multimodal, high referral practice. So she wants to know what the rehabilitation specialist, what the psychologist is doing, what someone may do with some lab analysis, with some biochemistry, with some pharmacology, and those components are in there. So the rehabilitation is taught by Christine, who taught you guys last year, but she's doing it case-based and advanced. The psychology is taught by Juan Carlos, but again, case-based and advanced. Pharmacology and lab is going to be taught by Jose Pinedes, again, case-based and advanced. And the P&I is taught by Yori Gidron, who I think you guys haven't had. So it's kind of like if I sit in my practice and I want to know what all of these other experts do around me, maybe refer to them, collaborate with them, communicate with them, how do I set up my practice to be more geared towards that? I refer, I collaborate, I communicate with experts, but not in the way that Marianne does. So for me, that's not how I practice. Absolutely, I do refer 100%. I do communicate a lot with experts, but not in that sort of way. So the electives are kind of divided to allow you to pick the direction that you're going. And it doesn't mean that's the chiropractor you're going to be. It just means you're showing an interest, an inclination, a direction towards one way or the other at the moment. The more kind of, if you like, pure chiropractic or the more multimodal biomedical style chiropractor. So those are the two electives. They're both 10 ECTS, as is the vital stream. So the weight of them is equal, but there's actually some big differences when we get into the content of them. So let me go to that, and then we can come back to this slide if you guys have any questions. The electives are designed for you guys to have a lighter load than your colleagues across a number of different ways. And this is again because we want you to have more advanced, more self-directed, more autonomous learning. We don't want to bear you down with a few things that we think you just don't need to be weighted down with. So one of them absolutely is about assessments. The electives and your content in the clinic has less assessments than what your colleagues do. Again, because we feel there needs to be less hand-holding. We feel you're more competent. We feel you're more able to self-direct your learning across the year. Whereas we want to keep a closer eye on your colleagues to make sure they do well in year 5, they pass the OSCE well, and they graduate well. So looking at the assessments, your colleagues need to do 33 mini CXs. That's what year 5 students generally need to do. Those are across a number of different things, and that document is available in the class life. I will go through it on Monday in the class as well, how it's broken down, but you guys can see that. But in general, there's 33 mini CXs that need to be done, which is more or less 1 a week. For you guys, we're confident that you're more competent, and so we're taking those numbers right down. You don't need to do any systemic examinations when you're in clinic. You don't need to do any regionals when you're in clinic at all. Sorry, for the mini CXs, there's no regional requirements, but there will be a requirement for your actual numbers. So let me separate those two things out. And you don't need to do any technique-based mini CXs. We feel you're competent at the technique-based stuff, whereas your colleagues will need to do a diversified cervical, a Thompson pelvic, an activator, those sorts of things. So we've taken all of those out. What you do need to do is 8 radiology reports, because radiology was really badly done at the OSCE, at the exit OSCE. And we need you to do 3 mini CXs with your tutor. So when we look at that, what that means is that you need to meet with your tutor twice this year. And every time you meet, you need to deliver something. And I'll talk about that in class on Monday. But that's exactly what your colleagues need to do as well. 2 of them are related to your numbers, how you look at your numbers, how you're analyzing your numbers, how you're starting to think about them as a 5th year and as a practitioner. And one of them has to do with what you plan to do for your own growth across this year. It's kind of looking at your own, setting your own goals for clinic. So that's the only mini CXs you need to do. Only 11 in place of 33, because we want to give you a lighter load in that. You will still need to do all of your clinic requirements. So all of your adjustment visits, your first visits, your regionals that sit within that, your breakdown of case mix, all of those sorts of things. It's the mini CXs that we've reduced in terms of Prac 3. As well as that, you've got a far lighter load in terms of the assessments that sits within the elective module. So the assessments that sit within COMP2 Vital, what your colleagues need to do, there's about 12 different assessments. You guys have far, far fewer in the electives, because again, we're respecting your fact that you're more competent, you're more advanced, and you're more self-directed. And within the electives, the contact hours, the teaching hours are far less, far less than what your colleagues need to do. Again, it's more pushed towards your own self-directed autonomous learning rather than classroom time and hand-holding in through that. As well as that, as I said, you will have access to what your colleagues do in COMP2 Vital. And there's 3 areas that are probably pretty important to mention. Number 1, Geordie and Jay are going to come in and do master's level neurology. You guys haven't had neurology since year 3, and you certainly haven't had it in a way that is applied to clinic. So while he will teach in the challenging cases elective, he's also going to teach in the COMP2 Vital, and it could be really important for you guys to jump in there and learn master's level neurology. The second one is Juan Carlos is going to come into COMP2 Vital and teach master's level psychology. Again, he's doing advanced psychology in the other elective, in the integrated approach to the patient care, but you may want to jump in and learn master's level psychology that's applied to clinical thinking, where you're at as a 5th year student. The third thing that's probably going to be of quite interest is that BCC has worked over the summer to bring in some new resources. One of them is a woman called Cindy O'Meara. She's an Australian nutritionist. She's absolutely fantastic. We received a lot of, shall we say, less than positive reviews of Anna Palmes. And so we worked hard over the summer to get someone else to come in. Cindy's going to be teaching nutrition. That Cindy comes from a large chiropractic family. So she teaches nutrition from a chiropractic perspective. She's a nutritionist. She's absolutely hugely successful. She's a lovely woman. I've worked with her many, many years. And so she will teach in 2nd semester in COMP2 Vital nutrition from a chiropractic point of view. She is a nutritionist, not a chiropractor. Actually, her daughter is also a nutritionist and just joined us in 1st year as a student. So you may want to access that as well. Again, it's not mandatory, but I would suggest that for your development, accessing Cindy's material on nutrition, possibly accessing Juan Carlos's stuff on advanced psychology in a master's level, and accessing Geordie and Jay's stuff in neurology could be of interest to you. And you have full access to that, regardless of which elective you pick. So again, just looking at the electives, and then I'll open up for questions. This is how they look in through here. As you can see, the COMP2 Vital has a lot more stuff in it. It's got a lot more contact hours. It's got a lot more assessments. It's a lot more hand holding, and it's at a more basic level than what we would expect you guys to want or be interested in. Again, the challenging cases is directed to a more, if you like, purely chiropractic point of view. And that's about the technique, the neurology, the communication, and the advanced imaging that's directed at some of these more challenging cases. And then the integrated patient care is more about, if you're working within this integrated model, this biomedical model, if you like, this therapeutic model that Marianne you may think of Marianne as working in. So the thing to do now is to open it up to questions and answers. And the next step, let me maybe just finish with that, is really this. It's to make sure your questions are answered, and then to help you guys come to a decision about whether the electives in general interest you, you're happy to do this, you're keen about this, and then which elective you would like to choose, whether it's the challenging cases or whether it's the integrated approach to patient care. We do ask you to make a decision as soon as possible, because it has, as you can imagine, some logistical, operational, and timetabling impacts. And we really want to start teaching the electives in week 3. You're now in week 1, or maybe at latest in week 4. We really want to get this going so that we don't lose too much time, we don't lose too much momentum. So I'd like to now hand it over to you guys, answer any questions, talk through anything you may have, and then leave you with this question. Are you guys interested in doing the elective? You don't have to answer me now. And if you are, then which elective, I will need to know which elective interests you. So what questions, comments, feedback? Is anyone interested in the electives?
Yes, sure. I have one question actually. Yeah. Maybe you mentioned, what was the difference between the technique in the first elective and then the overall?
So in the Vital one, Loic is going to be doing 20 hours of technique. What he will do there, as far as I understand, is what he did for 5th years last year, which is looking at helping them integrate the 5 different techniques you've already learned, and looking at prioritization across them, and also how you would apply that to some more basic cases that he hasn't talked about, like someone comes in with torticollis, that sort of thing. The feedback I got last year is that it was a lot of hand-holding from Loic and a lot of recapping of what he's already done. And not too much new material, which it seemed like a lot of the students needed, especially when we look at how they did in the OSCE. In the challenging cases, Loic and Adrian will be teaching directed at challenging cases. So what do you do when someone comes in, as I said, Parkinson's, missing a limb, a challenging child, which are the 3 people I had just today. Someone comes in hugely antalgic, really bad torticollis. What do you do with those ones? I should say also that the electives, especially that elective, is going to be led by you guys. So if you turn up to a class and you go, I have no idea how to deal with someone with acute torticollis, I would hope that Jordi and Loic and Rosaire with communication would help you do that. So those that elective specifically about the chiropractic challenging cases is really designed for you guys to start to lead the learning as well.
One question.
Yeah.
So there is 2 types of elective options, right?
Yeah.
So the difference is only for assessment, because we can access all, right? We can access.
No. So you can access the main one, which is not the elective, the one your colleagues will be doing, and then the elective you sit in. In the elective you sit in, whether it's the chiropractic challenging cases or the integrated approach to patient care, there's content that's specific to that elective, and there's assessments that are specific to that elective. But neither the teaching hours nor the assessments are anywhere near as big as what your colleagues will be doing.
Okay.
You can access their material, but you don't have to sit the assessment. If you want to, for formative reasons, you can, but not towards your grade, not in a summative way.
We will have to do the assessments of our elective.
Your elective has assessments. Yes, that's right. Yeah, but it's much lighter than what your colleagues will. Yeah. What other questions?
Yeah.
Yes. Will there be a difference between of teachers from general to elective 1 and 2, obviously?
So in the challenging cases, it's going to be Loic and Adrian. Adrian doesn't teach in the main one. Rosaire, who does teach in both. Geordie and Jay, who also teach in both. So they'll be crossing over. As well as that, you'll get some advanced imaging stuff that's related to challenging cases. That comes from Steve Gould, specifically looking at radiology, looking at CT, looking at MRI. In the other one that's about integrated care, there's Juan Carlos, who also teaches in the main one, but he's doing it more at a case-based advanced level. And then there's Christine. You guys had Christine last year, right? Doing rehabilitation. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. So she's sitting in that now. Yori Gidron,
Yes.
who you guys haven't had, is going to do psychoneuroimmunology. And what's the one I'm missing? Jose Pinedes, looking at biochemistry, pharmacology, and lab analysis.
Okay. Okay.
And he doesn't teach in the other group.
Thank you.
Yeah. What else, guys?
Well, for me, no question, but I think it's a huge chance that you're giving us, and I'm so happy. So thank you. I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of time to also like learn the stuff I want to outside of school, and that is really great. So thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Yeah, and Sylvain, you wrote as well that it's all good for you. That's good. You know, we want to help. You guys are the high achievers. I'm keen to see you guys keep rising rather than what's happened in the past is kind of drop down to the average, and we really don't want that for you guys. And the other side of it is, I know that Yuho and Joaquin are already looking at CTP, and I think this is a good access to that because, as you said, Margot, you'll have more time, so you can get those requirements done. You can maybe look at CTP, which is another way to really excel you forwards as soon as you're ready to do that. Any other questions? Any comments? Any doubts? No. So as I said, you know, 2 questions remain, and you don't have to answer them by now. First of all, are you interested in doing the elective, or would you like to drop back to where your colleagues are in the Vital, which is an option for you as well? And then if you are going to do the elective, then please let me know by Monday which one, so that we can start looking at the logistics, the operations, and the timetabling, and get that teaching happening in week 3 or at latest in week 4 to kick it all off.
Do you need an email, or can I just say it now?
Yeah, well, if you want to tell me, well, no, and if you can email me just so I have a record of it, but you can tell me now if you want.
Okay, the cases,
the challenging cases.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a really good elective.
Yeah, I think about it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're considering challenging cases, or you want to think about it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'm considering challenging cases. Yeah.
Challenging cases, yeah. For you, Margot, do you have any direction one way or another?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that too, but I'm gonna take like some time to think.
Yeah. Sylvain's gonna think about it. Okay, great. Good. Okay. Well, look. If there's no other questions, thank you so much for being here so late. If there are any questions, email me, text me. I am at a screening all weekend, so I'm going to be relatively inaccessible, but I'll make sure that I try and answer things. And please, otherwise, let me know by Monday which elective you would like to do. Again, I'm really excited, and the college is really excited to have you guys doing this, and I want to see you guys moving further and graduating as absolutely kick-ass chiropractors. So thank you again, guys. I'll share this with everyone in the email, so you can view it again if you need to, but otherwise I have everything available on email. Okay. Have a good night. I will see you on Monday.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Ciao, guys. See you later.
Thank you.